Hello and welcome to everybody on my YouTube channel Cloud Fitness. So today we are going to talk about repartitioning and collace in Spark. So as you all know, Spark is basically a distributed computing engine and its main data set or its main abstraction is an RDD. And RDD under the hood, these are the objects which are actually stored in form of partitions. Let me show you a diagram which I took from the Google. So as you can see here, RDDs basically are whenever you write anything in Spark, it get converted into form of an RDD. Suppose you read a file in Spark, the entire content of the file is actually partitioned into multiple smaller chunks. Any RDD for that matter is partitioned by Spark into multiple partitions. When we apply any kind of transformation on an RDD, the transformation is actually applied to each partition. Each partition it is applied actually. So this diagram represents the same thing. So this is an RDD which is actually it is split into 5 different partitions, and these partitions are actually sent for the parallel execution on different nodes, right? And I'll talk more in detail about how this is done when we are talking about the architecture of how Spark works. So now let's go ahead and see what is the difference between repartitioning and collace. So this is the partitioning offered by Spark by default. But sometimes what happens is programmers would actually like to change the partitioning, right, by changing the size of partitions. So this is where repartitioning and collace comes into picture. So let's go ahead and see what is the exact difference between these two. So let's say I want to read my file. So I'm creating a data frame. I'm trying to read my file which is present in DBFS. So let's create a data frame out of it. So here is the data frame created now. So by default, you will see that Spark will actually create one partition for every 128 MB of the file. So this is the default partitioning which is offered by Spark, right? So for example, if you are reading a file which has 2 GB of size, so by default 20 partitions will be created out of it, right? So basically 1 GB file, 10 partitions. This is how it gets created. Now let's see, I have created this data frame, right? Now let's run this command of df.rdd.get number of partitions, which will actually tell me how many partitions are created for the data frame which I have created just now. Let's run this command. So you can see here actually one partition is created right now. So why one partition is created? Because I just have 150 records in my file, and by default Spark creates one partition for every 128 MB of file, right? So that is why by default one partition has been created for my data frame. So how is this 128 MB per partition is set? So that is actually set by a default parameter which is spark sql.files.max partition bytes. So if you actually run this command spark.configuration, so that is conf.get, and then you pass as a string spark.sql.files.max partition bytes, then you will actually get this number, which this is by default set by Spark, which actually signifies that for each partition you will have 128 MB. Now if you want to change that, you can definitely go ahead and you can set this parameter. So I have commented it because I don't want to change that. I want to keep it as default. So in case you want to change that parameter, you have to use spark conf.set, and you have to pass this parameter and the value you want to change it to. So in case you do that, you can actually go ahead and change this parameter through this. However, a point to note here is that in case you are using any kind of compressed file like your snappy parquet file or your gunzip, in that case, irrespective of the size of the file, you will have only one file. You will have only one partition for that file. So you have to make sure, like, you remember this point, that in case of compressed file you will always end up in having a single partitions. So you should take care of that thing. So let's go ahead and see how our repartition things work. So as I've already told, so whenever you are talking about, repartitioning thing, it basically signifies that you want to repartition the file, you want to increase or decrease the number of partition by your own self. So that is why that is where partitioning comes into picture, and collace as well. So when you talk about repartitioning, it will actually perform the full shuffle on the data, and it will create the partition based on the input you have given. So in case you want to decrease the number of partition, then also you can give the input, and in case you want to increase the number of partition, then also you can give the input to the repartitioning. So let's see how we can do that. So I have already created a data frame df above, which has one partition. Now let's say I want to repartition it. I want to have two partitions out of it, right? So in that case, I can write repartition, and in brackets I can write 2 here. So I want to have two partitions out of it. Now I have actually mentioned partition by column as well. So in my data I have a species column, so I want to partition by species here. So, and also I have mentioned the location as well, where I want to store it. So let's run this command and see how repartitioning has happened here. So this has been done now. Now let's go to this particular location which I have mentioned, and I'll actually go here and check how my repartitioned file looks like. So guys, this is the location where I have stored my repartitioned file, dbfs file store. Now inside file store, now you can see I have done partitioning based on the species. So these were the three different types of species in my file. So based on these species, now if you go inside each folder or each partition, you will actually see these two partitions got created inside each species folder, right? So this is how your partitions gets created. Now if you go to the second species, now again you see these are the two part files generated, which actually holds your data which has been partitioned into two files. And similarly for your third species, again you have these two files. So this is how basically Spark will repartition your data. Now when you talk about this repartitioning, how does it actually works? This repartitioning actually creates all your new partitions all together. So it involves full shuffle of your data or full movement of your data basically. That is why repartitioning, you can actually always say that repartitioning will involve full shuffle of your data, because whenever you repartition by, like for example, I've written here 2, if I do again here by 3, then it will again do the whole scanning of the data, and again it will repartition my full data. Now I want to show you one more thing. So let's go ahead, and I just want to remove the files which I have just now created in dbfs file store. So I'm just running this command to remove I'll just zoom it. So I just ran this command to remove the files from which got created recently. So now if I see here, since I have removed all the files, so you can see that there is no folder created inside dbfs, because I have actually removed it. So now let's say I want to repartition it, but I don't want to provide a partition by column. So let's do a partitioning again at the same location. Now I have removed the files from that location, and let's repartition it again without giving a partition by column. And now let's see how the data looks like. Right, I'll go ahead and I'll refresh this page again. Now if I go inside dbfs, now you see again a folder named as file store which I have created is there, but I have not partitioned it. Just because I have not partitioned it, I cannot see my subfolders. Like earlier I was able to see the folders of each and every species because I partitioned by species, but now I have not partitioned it. I have just like given it a command to repartition it by 2, right? So the whole file, the whole data from my data frame has actually come into these two partitions. So these are the two snappy Parquet files which are generated. So all the partitions, you already know that it comes in form of snappy Parquet files. So these are the two partitions that came without giving the partition by column, right? So there are no subfolders generated. So let's move ahead and see how coalesce works. So coalesce is again a method of repartitioning or a method of partitioning, but there is a small difference between repartitioning and coalesce. So when you talk about coalesce is actually used only to decrease the number of partitions. So in case you have 2 partitions, you can decrease it to 1 partition. In case you have 3 partitions, you can make it to 2 and 1 partitions. But you cannot increase the number of partitions by coalesce. Now remember one more thing. So since it is decreasing the number of partitions, so what will happen actually? So in case you have 5 partitions and you want to make it to 2 partitions, so what coalesce will do? Coalesce will actually not move the data from the 2 executors. What it will do, since you want to repartition it from 5 to 2, it will take the data from the 3 partitions and it will move it to the remaining 2 partitions which you want to create. So that is how it will actually avoid the shuffling of the data. So since it is avoiding shuffling of the data, it actually shows a better performance than the repartitioning. So this is the major difference when you talk about repartitioning and coalesce. Just to summarize, repartitioning you can increase as well as decrease the number of partitions, and repartitioning always involve full shuffle of the data because it recreates the partitions altogether. But when you talk about coalesce, it will always decrease the number of partitions, and coalesce will actually it does not involve full shuffle, so it only involves partial shuffle. So in case you are decreasing the number of partitions from 5 to 2, this is just an example. In that case, it will pick up the data from the 3 partitions and move it to the 2 partitions. So the data in the 2 partitions is not shuffled, right? So it avoids full shuffle of the data, and hence it is little more performant than your repartitioning. So remember that point. These are the major difference between repartitioning and coalesce. So let's go ahead and see how coalesce work. Now, so I have this data frame already created. So out of that data frame, if I do coalesce 1, right, this is just the syntax, right? Coalesce 1, just like we were doing the repartitioning, the similar way we are doing the coalesce 1. And now let's run this command. So now this will actually give me only 1 partition because I have done the coalesce. Now let's go and see in the same location how my files are created. Now I'll just refresh it. Now if you see, under this dbfs folder, I have 1 file created. Earlier I had 2 files created, right? So now I have just 1 file created, and which is again a snappy Parquet file. So this is how your coalesce works, right? In case you don't want to have partitions, definitely you can go ahead and try this option of coalesce. But remember one thing. So what these partitions do? These partitions will actually partition your data and give it to different executors. So this is how parallelism actually works. So now if you decrease the number of partitions, your degree of parallelism will also decrease. So keep that point in mind. So in case you have a huge amount of data and you do coalesce over it, so what will happen is all the data will go to a single node, which you don't want, which you of course don't want. You want to have you want to have some parallelism, some degree of parallelism over your data to process it faster, right? In that case, do keep a check on how you are doing the repartitioning and when to do coalesce. So that depends on your data and that depends on your requirement and how much degree of parallelism you actually want from your data. So do remember this point, and let me know in the comment section in case you want me to make video on any other topic, and or if you have any doubts on this particular video as well. Thank you so much.